I'm going to be honest, after yesterday's trailer video, I was just thinking about it all night and I just couldn't sleep because it gave me more questions than answers. Like, what is that purple gas? Why were the power connectors purple? What was the new item that we saw? And more specifically, or more importantly, why 1.0 is going to be an even bigger game for us when it releases in just a couple of weeks. So I thought today we would break down the video a little bit more and speculate from various shots what all these things could be. Now I do want this to... Well, that's a great start. Now I do want this to be more of a discussion. So if you guys have any ideas, if you agree with me, if you disagree and think it's something else, then please do let me know. I would love to talk about this further. And speaking of which, if you do want to have a conversation about it, join me on twitch.tv/Totalxclipse after this, as I'm going to be streaming as well. So let's get straight into it. And the first shot that I have here is of the inside of the first building. It's at 17 seconds, roughly 16 seconds. And you guys are absolutely right. I'm pretty certain I was wrong suggesting that this here was quartz. I'd totally forgotten the SAM ore node that we'd seen in the previous video had been updated to that pinky purple color. And I'm pretty certain that this is SAM ore. But it does lead me to question what it is that we can see. There's some kind of gas which comes out of here. And we can also see it in a later shot here and here. At first, I thought this was to do with products that are SAM ore related. So any machine that's receiving SAM ore in some form will have this new animation, but that is clearly not the case because the machine that has the purple exhaust is this one here, and you can see that's receiving the plastic, the cable, and the circuit boards to become a new computer recipe. My other thought was, hey, maybe it's to do with the overclocking. After all, we can see here this manufacturer, and it is a manufacturer, is being overclocked. But go back to this shot and we can see all of the constructors here are green lit, which means they are not overclocked. So I'm really not sure as to what that can be, and I would love to hear your thoughts. It looks like there is something affecting it. Maybe it's a Mark II variant of the manufacturer and the constructors. I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's the only thing that I could think it could be, unless maybe there's a particular item that we're feeding into these machines which is reducing the cost or allowing us to produce more that's not an overclock specific. I'm not sure. Moving on though, we also have this shot, and here you can see the purple effect on the constructor's PowerPoint. This led me thinking, oh, is it something to do with the powered wall, which they talked about previously and had decided to not implement it, I think was the last conversation. And the idea with the powered wall was that it would power anything within a particular building. So you'd have this one wall that you would power and everything inside it would be powered. And that would explain why all of the constructors, I don't think you can really see it here. If we just grab it here, you can see PowerPoint here, here, and here. These are all purple. So it could be that it is to do with the powered wall, but in which case, why do we have the cable here? Maybe all of the items still need to be connected to the wall, but then it's not really a powered wall. It's just being connected to the grid. The other thought is that potentially the cables being connected could just be a red herring, and that actually regardless of whether they're connected or not, they will be powered thanks to that purple power pole. Moving on, we have the new buildable up close, this weird shaped build, and we can see that it is producing these new ingots, and they look different from the original video, the 1.0 release video. Originally they were more of a matte color. Here you can see that they are definitely a shiny gold color. We can see the input here is Caterium. In the video you can see there's that SAM or condensed energy or whatever it is going in here, and also there is the potential that it's being combined with the aluminium ingots as well to create this. But before we work out what this is, I want to also talk about the gases that are being produced also from the same building. Now, depending on what the building is producing, you'll notice this is a red glow. You can actually see this is, I think, a greeny glow in the video. And we can see this is producing the gas. I covered this in my breakdown video that I released yesterday. And the reason that we know it's producing it is that the flow rate on this pipe junction is heading in this direction, which is really interesting because we can see over here there are no inputs being used, even though it does have, go here, inputs on the other side. This has led me to believe, knowing or presuming that this is a gas, it certainly looks like a gas, that this could actually be some kind of atmospheric extractor of, or condenser, I guess would be the right term, of gas. And if it is gas, perhaps this is super cooling the gas to be used in the quantum encoders. If it is a gas, I would hazard a guess that it is hydrogen. And the reason for this is hydrogen can be used for cooling purposes. It can also be used in purifying metals, which would bring us back to this shot here. Maybe this is still in use. It's still harvesting hydrogen from the atmosphere. It's a hydrogen-rich atmosphere, and is being used in the metallurgy process in order to turn the Caterium ingots here into a pure metal. It's even gold, pure gold. That's my thought with that. Also, as we know that this is going to the quantum encoders, remember in the video yesterday I mentioned how despite having different recipes, both quantum encoders were outputting this gas or plasma as a byproduct of what they're producing. The reason why I think it's a cooling gas is because quantum computers need supercool. So it would make sense to use a gas to supercool the quantum encoder, which we can see here. So let's assume it is a supercooled gas, and that, or liquid, and that is being sent to here. And as a byproduct, we have this heated gas or plasma being sent off to a further production chain. And plasmas can be used in industrial production. So if it was hydrogen gas, we could assume, or speculate, is probably the better term, that this is hydrogen plasma. If it's hydrogen plasma, that is what is the fueling the sun, from my limited scientific knowledge, which further pushes the next point, which is, if you see here, this plasma is being sent all the way along here into the particle accelerator. And we know it's being used in the particle accelerator, these particle accelerators, to become quantum crystals. but it's also going to this silver one, which combines these items, this weird Death Star-like item. It looks like a containment unit. And there's also, though you can't see it in this shot, apologies, bad shot from me, there is a plutonium waste barrel running along here, which I believe is being turned into this particular item. And what strikes me about this is it looks a bit like a sun. And then it occurred to me, the sun is fusion. The way it produces energy is through fusion, from my understanding. Currently in game we have nuclear fission, but could this be a little tidbit suggesting that fusion power is on the way? My thought here is that it's some kind of fusion fuel cell at the moment. Then the next thing that I wanted to talk about is here. We've broken down that this manufacturer that we saw earlier is producing computers. It's the one with the weird gas. But we also have plastic running along here. This is the high-speed connectors. And then along here again, well, actually it's along here, sorry, is the AI limiters. This is a bad shot because I don't actually show you what these are producing. These manufacturers are producing, let's see it here, yeah, the quantum computer as we know it, and we know that these are going along here. Can't really see it on this one. There you go. It's a quantum computer going into the quantum encoder. Now, I speculated in the 1.0 release trailer that maybe this is a quantum computer, and though we can see the quantum computers over here, that maybe it's been renamed to a supercomputer, because it doesn't make sense having a quantum computer that hasn't been encoded yet. So going off of that, I want to return to this recipe here. In game, we have a recipe, the vanilla recipe for the supercomputers, just so happens to be computers with plastic, AI limiters, and high-speed connectors, which leads me to further believe, or consider, I should say, I'm not 100% sure on this, but this quantum computer could actually be a supercomputer, and that the item that we see coming out from here, but these are producing this item, which could be the new quantum computer. It's just a coincidence that the recipes are the same as the supercomputer, but I thought it is worth talking about. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm sorry, this is probably a very long video, but there is so much that's been buzzing around my mind, and that is this. So this particle accelerator is producing these weird, like, crystal objects, and I assumed it was a crystal because I assumed coal was going into the particle accelerator. It certainly looks like coal, and my idea was coal and diamonds are both carbon materials, and the only difference is the high heat and pressure that's required to create the diamond. So maybe that was kind of what's going on here. But even though I think it is some kind of crystalline structure, it doesn't look like a diamond. It looks more like a jelly. Like in between a jelly and a crystal. And that got me thinking, what if the coal is not coal? We have 3 types of coal looking items in the game, which is coal, charcoal, and petroleum coke. And what if, just a little thought, this particle accelerator is consuming petroleum coke and from it producing a petroleum jelly. Oh wait, what's the there's a material, isn't there? Oh, what's it called? It could be that. What is the material called that they use in NASA? It's like a super gel. Aerogel, that's the word that I'm looking for. And you know what? I think it might be. I think this might be aerogel. I think it goes on to create quantum crystals. Hey, and the thing is, that is not everything. We know that these resources are going off to, well, some of them are going off to different buildings or to other places via the train station, but we also have more items on the way as well. So if we look here, we obviously have the space elevator parts, and then there's the superposition oscillator as well. I am so excited for 1.0. It's going to be crazy. Guys, we're going to leave it there because it's been a long video already, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will hopefully see you in stream after this. Anyway, guys, until next time, special thanks goes to all of our amazing supporters on Patreon, most notably our Solo Clips Patreon, Firefless, as well as our Lunas, the Calamity, Ben, and Star, and our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Brain Slug. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.